हेलो एवरीवन, नमस्ते. हाउ आर यू ऑल डूइंग? कैसे हैं आप लोग सब? In my last video, I had asked you a very simple question, but the answer was a little bit difficult. The question was, do you think that teacher's profession is an easy profession? And if not, then what are the challenges that teachers face? Today, I'm here to talk about those challenges. Let's begin with who am I, right? So, me, I am Madhuri. I've been into the teaching profession for the past 22 years now. So, first 12 years of my career, I was teaching undergraduate students, and then I got persuaded into teaching at international schools. So, for the past 10 years, I have worked in three countries. This is my third country. First was India, of course, second was Bali, and now I am in Denmark. So let's begin and talk about the challenges. There are varied types of challenges that teachers face. I would generally say that they fall under one specific heading, which is called as pressure. The pressure that comes from students, that is because we are teachers, we should have subject knowledge, we should be good at teaching, communication should be perfect, and students are constantly assessing us. That is the first pressure. They are expecting us to give them the knowledge that they deserve, and there's nothing wrong in it. The challenge comes when the student says that, or student feels unsafe, or the student blames the teacher for not getting the right grade. That is the pressure that I'm talking about. So the second pressure comes from parents. Parents who expect their child to get the best grade possible or the highest grade possible could blame and have blamed teachers for not doing their job in a right way. The third pressure comes from administrators, from the line manager of the school or the colleagues even. That is the third pressure that we are talking about. I can share a number of stories that fall in these three categories. I have faced a situation where the student, because we had an argument in the class, felt that I downgraded his marks in the assessment. A parent who expected me to say sorry to her because she misunderstood what I was trying to say, and she felt that I'm not supporting her daughter as much as I should be doing. From, unfortunately, administrators of one of the school who felt that I am in the wrong because the parent has complained, which means the teacher is in the wrong and not, there was nobody to blame, but teacher was someone whom you could blame easily, and hence it fell on me. And unfortunately, the administrator also yelled at me in my personal meeting, and I felt threatened to an extent where I had to involve a counselor in that meeting. Well, so let's not get too much into the challenges because that is not the reason why I'm here. Why I'm here is to make it easy for us, right? No profession is easy. No profession comes without any challenges. It is not an ideal world. It is not a perfect world. And we don't want a perfect world. What we are trying to say here is that let us try and make it a little bit easy for ourselves. Try and see and remember that we are ultimately human beings, and hence we need to lower our burden. The work that we are doing right now, the profession, whichever profession that we are in, is only tiny portion of our tiny part of our life. Okay, it is not our life. So, having said that, I would like to share a few suggestions which may or may not work for you, but certainly it can be a starting point for you. So, the first thing that I would like to say here is, or the suggestion is that remember that you are a human being. A teacher is a human being. Okay, don't take it so very seriously that it stresses you, exhausts you, because as it is on day-to-day basis, whenever we are going into the class, we are doing our duties, we are managing at least 20 to 40 students sometimes in a class. We are trying to help each and every student. We are planning lessons. We are doing differentiation, creating different worksheets for every student, giving support after the classes. So we get drained of our energy. So you have to remember that you're a human being, and hence you are allowed to make mistakes as well. Now, when I say that, understand that you're a human being, please present yourself also as a human being to your students. So when you're in class, ensure that if you forget something or if you have made a mistake while explaining something, go ahead and say, I'm sorry, I think I made a mistake. Right? There are times when I might forget a particular formula, I might forget a particular name of a theory, or I might make a very tiny, minute, mistake. And then I realize when I'm saying it, and I say, I'm sorry, this is a mistake I made. I think, let me go back, recheck, and then I'll come back to you. There was a time, there was one class where a student asked me a question about a particular situation, and I gave an answer. And when I went back home, I realized that that was a wrong answer. And I wrote to him saying that, I've made a mistake, I'm sorry. And this is the answer that you were looking for. And this was the question. And the student was really surprised. And he said, Miss Madhuri, do you go back home and think about all these things? I said, well, I try as much as I can. And often I reflect on my lessons. And especially if I am doubtful about a particular class, I certainly go back and reflect and think about, what the mistake was about. So that also helps to create a bond. That is my next suggestion to you. So when you accept yourself as a person and you show yourself the way you are, okay, to your students, that creates a very strong bond with them. The bonding is very, very important for them to feel safe in your classroom. So if they know that you are a human being there and who can make a mistake, it gives them an opportunity also to come out of their introvert nature and speak in class and show their knowledge and also show their perspectives. So the bonding with the student comes from developing good communication skills. Now, this good communication skills means the third suggestion, that we don't jump to conclusion. Because we are human beings, we are pressurized, we have to live up to so many expectations. We also know that we as teachers are the role model. So whatever we say, the way we behave with students, the words that we use in class, they make a big impact on the students, right? So the third thing that I think is very, very important is build a strong communication, okay, by using positive words. So there are possibilities, and it happens all the time. I am very much aware about it, that when there are many number of students in class and most of them are really close friends, there is often chaos in class. There are often times when they don't listen. They are in a mood to have fun and they don't realize that they are being disrespectful. So don't take it personally. Try and use good words and kind words and speak in a language which is not aggressive or offensive, right? So for example, if somebody is talking too much or looking at each other, because I have developed strong bonds with my students, I can go to that student and very sweetly say, all right, I think we should focus, right now, pay attention to what I'm saying, okay? That shows firmness, that shows that you're serious about your business, but you are not attacking them, okay? Again, why I'm saying this? Because I'm a person who believes that yes, there is a time to study and there is a time to play, right? All teachers will agree with me on this, that when we are studying, let us focus, okay? And we go in the classroom thinking that we are going to finish like 4 topics today, and somehow if students don't cooperate, we are not able to finish those topics. But it's okay if you don't finish it, right? What is important is, if today they are not ready, tomorrow they will be, correct? I have entered classrooms sometimes and my students have said that, we don't feel like learning today, we don't feel like doing anything, could we get a break? And then I can there are times when I have taken them around, walking around the school, or told them, okay, let's do a deal over here, okay? So first 45 minutes we are going to study, and the next 15 minutes, or depending upon whatever time is allocated to your class, I will give you free time in the last 15 minutes if you focus for the rest of it. And it goes really well. They really like this idea because it gives them freedom to be, to relax in class sometimes, because they need it so very often. And of course, it creates a win-win situation for me and for them as well. All right. And finally, I can give one more suggestion. uh, Take one lesson at a time. Be it a new teacher who's just entered this profession, or be it a teacher who has been teaching for a long time. Like I am teaching IBDP for the past 10 years now. I still take one lesson at a time. I do have a planner for the entire year, but I keep changing it because the change is required to be made as per the requirement of the student and as per how much they can take easily, correct? And which means that if they are focused, they'll learn faster. If they are also more studious, you can say more driven by grades, they will focus more. Okay, so every year you will see different students coming in, and you will have to adjust accordingly and not them adjusting to you. So most often we as teachers adjust ourselves to the requirement of the students. And I'm not saying bending over backwards, but I'm saying that because we want to ensure that they learn and they understand. And also we are under a lot of pressure, and we want to ensure that nobody has a complaint against us, right? And so we try and do our best. So having said all these things, remember that you are a human being and you are allowed to be who you are. And that's why how I start my lessons. I start my lessons in 2 or 3 or n number of ways, but the most favorite to my heart are the two things that I do. First, I ask them, how are you? The way I asked you, how are you, right in the beginning, although I know I'm not going to get a reply. But yes, I do ask them, how are you? And I'm genuinely interested in how they are. So I talk to them for about 5 or 10 minutes or 15 minutes sometimes. The second thing that is my most favorite and is close to my heart is I ask them reflecting questions. I ask them simple things like, so tell me, what are you grateful for today? Or I ask them questions like, what is it that has changed in the past week that you wanted to work on? What has been your most cherished moment in the past 1 year or this year? Then I also ask them simple questions like, what is it that you like about your home? What is it, the best thing that you like about your home? Or very simple things like, which is your favorite color? Which celebrity do you like? Or which particular song do you like? And sometimes I play that song in my class. I've been doing that for a long time now, and very recently I'm getting good feedback. Believe me, for such a long time I've been doing it, but now I'm getting the awards for it. When students tell me that, what we like about your class is that you give us time to talk and we reflect on questions. And that makes me feel that I can speak in your class, right? Some students who never appreciated or rather smiled and laughed whenever I used to ask these questions. And, one more thing before I go ahead, it's not only them answering the question, it is me also answering the question. So when I ask them a question, what are you grateful for? What is it that you like about your house? What is it that you like about, your childhood? I share my story with them. So when I share my story with them, they get a little bit of understanding of who I am as a person. And hence, this year especially, I have been receiving good comments from my students. One of the students said that, when you shared your story, that really helped me to connect with you. And that made me also calm as a person, because I was going in all directions. One student said that what I like about your class is that we start with questions, and has got nothing to do with the subjects. And that way I feel that, I can communicate and I feel relaxed. Another student said that you are teaching more than the subject. It is about life skills, and now I realize how important they are. There was also a time when I asked my students, okay, go check your phone and tell me what has been your screen presence, as we call it. I don't know what has been the number of hours that you have spent on your phone. And they checked it. And then I told them that, why don't we do something like this? I said, let's minimize your time on the phone by 5 minutes. Okay, just do that much, just 5 minutes, just delete 5 minutes. So if you were spending 2 hours, spend only 1 hour 55 minutes. And we kept doing that, and it did not work with everyone, but at least one student out of a batch of 16, he came back and he told me, Miss, I have really brought down my screen time and it has fallen to just 1 hour. Now I know how I'm managing my time. So when I say things like, it is not about the screen time, it is about what are you doing on that during that screen time. Are you studying? Are you gaining knowledge about something that you're not aware of? Or are you just scrolling? That is very, very important. And hence, that also made them think. So when I speak about such matters, it makes a difference in their life. And after all, we are role models, but we are human beings also. We cannot take too much of pressure. We will also crumble. We have a family to think about who needs our attention, right? But having said all these things, because we have chosen this profession, and because we are teaching this younger generation, we know that we are in a position where we can have an impact. If it does not show today, but it will show after a few years or after a few days or months, sometimes, if we are lucky, but it will show. And because we are responsible for them, and this is the new generation. Every year, imagine the number of students who are appearing for grade 12 examinations, or appearing for grade or transitioning from PYP to MYP and then DP, or junior, senior, KG to the middle program, and then the secondary and higher secondary. So imagine the number of students who are entering this world as fresh out of school and going to colleges. I believe that we are in a position where we certainly can make an impact and create that ripple in the water. And that ripple is a positive ripple that I'm talking about. So let's make it happen. Let's ensure that we don't overburden ourselves, and let us ensure that we do our best every single day, but also consider and remember that that's all that we can do. We cannot do anything much more than that. So remember, go back home after a day's work. Ensure that you remember that you're a human, and you can make mistakes. Lastly, I would also want the administrators or the line managers or the coordinators, as we call it in our schools, to support the teachers, have faith in them. Because if they don't have faith in them, then that entire motive, that encouragement of the teacher goes off, correct? And that can be a very big blow. So I would really request whoever is in the position to support the teachers, please go ahead, be it colleague, be it coordinators, be it assistant principal or even the director. Please support your teachers, because we need you. If you don't support us, we will not be able to do our job in the way that we want to do. All right. So thank you for watching. And since we are still speaking about education, and we spoke about pressure from students and parents, the next video will be on one of these stakeholders. So essentially maybe on parenting. So thank you for watching, and I hope that you keep commenting. Namaste.